Hello everybody and welcome again to another Rapid Chat with Anchors video. And in today's one, it is a topic of, not so good news. You can actually call it bad news. We got this morning that there will be no Rainbow Cup, maybe. And a big emphasis on maybe. There's a slight chance, but according to the reports, the UK government has still a heavy ban on SA travelers. So our guys were supposed to be based in Bristol in a bio bubble after the local rounds have been played in South Africa. They can't travel to the UK, and the local teams have been advised not to fill in the visa applications for the UK because they wouldn't be allowed there. So what does this mean for South African rugby? Well, I made a couple of notes, and first up is the millions of revenue lost in broadcasting. Now, how sport models work generally is people think they make their money from fans in the stands, and they do to a certain extent, but the most money comes from broadcasting. And the one reason SA moved north is because they'll get more revenue out of the broadcasting as they did in Sanzar. Now, in Sanzar, as far as I know, South Africa actually brought in the most money from a third world country, believe it or not. And unfortunately, that money was split evenly by South Africa, New Zealand, Argentina, and Australia. So it's kind of like if you guys know a Gatsby, you buy a Gatsby, but I give $50, my friend gives $20, another one gives 10, but we all get an equal cut. It was never fair on South Africa, and this is one of the things that actually prompted them to move north. However, they might not get the millions they were banking on, and it does have repercussions for South African rugby as a whole. One of them is players will easily leave now for overseas. Now, a lot of players have signed contracts till this year after the Lions tour, and then they are free agents after that. And many teams, including the Stormers, obviously, they have secured some guys like a Damon Willemse, for instance, who's staying on. So we see a Velos Natla. It's not a Springbok, but they secured him as well. And other teams as well have secured guys for the long term, like Sukumbuzo Noche with the Sharks. I think Sabun Kosi is one of those guys as well. Makazole Mapimpi as well, although he's on a sabbatical in Japan. So some teams have secured guys for the long term until after the next World Cup. But there are some guys who are possible free agents after the British and Irish Lions tour, which we'll get to soon. And they might leave overseas contracts because this might lead to pay cuts again. Now, these guys already are on a pay cut. They're already earning less than what they were supposed to before the pandemic. And now they might even earn even less, So we could be seeing guys saying, listen, I can deal with one pay cut, I can't deal with two. I'm going to go now. There's talks of Peter Steff, leaving. Bongi, although it might be for the Sharks, they have a private equity partner in MBM Holding, so it's good reason that he can leave for the Sharks, and there's talks of him joining Rock Nation. So this could be another repercussion for many teams. And a team like Western Province, for instance, they actually banked on this money. They banked on the revenue from the broadcasting, and that's why they didn't go for the MVM deal, as far as I know. And this is what I said in the first place, why it's so silly. Because you have no guarantees in COVID-19. There's no guarantee that any competition can happen. I spoke to a friend this morning about Sevens, and I just said to him, listen, Sevens is planned and everything, and I hope we can go. But what are the chances that we can actually attend it? It might be the first Sevens tournament played behind closed doors. It's a possibility. It's the world we live in now. I mean, I haven't been to a stadium since, I think it's been over a year now. That's how long it's been. So, it's tough out there for all unions. And this Rainbow Cup that's not going to take place, might just be a nail in the coffin for many teams as well, in terms of the player personnel and how they're going to actually budget with their salaries and so forth. And another thing is, I mentioned this now briefly, but it might stretch non-privatized unions. The Bulls and Sharks, I think, to an extent will be fine because they have their private investors. But guys like the Lions, although they do have something with Emirates, and especially Western Province, who's totally owned by the union itself, 100% owned, they might find it very, very tough in the next couple of weeks or months coming forward, because they were banking on a certain amount of revenue coming in from broadcasting, and now it might not happen. So it is a very, very big blow, way more than we might think, to South African rugby at the moment. And also, the other thing is that how will this affect the readiness of our Lions players? Now, if I say the Lions players, I mean the guys who is going to play the Lions in the series will be selected. There is a lineman camp at the moment. A couple of Bulls guys have been invited. Actually, not even many of them, to be honest. And a couple of Lions guys and a few Stormers, and I think Sharks guys will be invited as well later down the line. But the readiness of our local teams, I mean, we've been playing each other for how long now? Since Super Rugby unlocked last year. Currie Cup, we played the preparation series. So we know what we have in our guys when we play against each other, but this Rainbow Cup was a perfect opportunity to test ourselves against the UK guys who we might come up against in the Lions Tour. Now, we might not even get an opportunity to play against them. And the only guys who might, give some insight to those guys is like Marcel Coetzee, who's coming to the Bulls now, from Ulster. But our guys have not been exposed to those guys. So it's total unknown territory for both parties, actually. But I think that the guys that are more ready is the Cheslin Colby, who's playing in France now. Half the Clad playing for Cell Sharks. They have played with and against some of those guys who might, play in the Lions Tour against them. When they play in South Africa later down the line in July. So the readiness of our local players is a concern, definitely. Like our guys have game time, which is great, but they do not have that exposure to other teams. Now, there was talk of Rassie Erasmus and Gary Gold organizing a trip with a match between the USA and South Africa. With all due respect to America, they are not ideal preparation quality to test yourself against before Lions Tour. So we need to organize a series against someone who's stronger, maybe an island, but yeah, it's tough. We live in a time where there's a pandemic and travel restrictions are heavily in place and vaccinations are behind. So I'm not even sure, although Rassie's a genius, I don't even think he can actually top this one. I don't know how he's going to do this, but it's going to be a very, very tough ask of the Bob players to be ready for this Lions Tour. But I think also in some sense it's a level playing ground. They haven't played us, we haven't played them. But they've been involved in competitions cross-border, but we haven't. So this might be an issue. That's the only concerns I have in that regard. Yeah, that's all the notes I made actually of this topic. I didn't want to elaborate too much on it, but there are some concerns that I have on this Rainbow Cup cancellation, and these are the main two ones. There's obviously more, but these two concerns are the biggest ones for me: the revenue and the readiness of the players of the Lions Tour. And speaking of it, I'm holding thumbs, I'm crossing my toes that this tour will happen, and it will happen with fans. As far as I know, they were going to present to government a plan, and with a very good strong argument why fans should attend the tests. And I think I mentioned this before, I got tickets for all the tests and one provincial game. So I do hope that it goes forth. I think a good refund will be quite welcome, but I would love to be back in the rugby stadium again, and I feel that many people feel the way I do. So yeah, let's hope for the best. We will see what happens. But hey guys, thanks again for tuning into my channel. And I'm not always as regular as I want to be, but such is life. I do get some interviews for you guys, which I hope you enjoy. If you haven't checked it out, my last one was with Tarkin Manuel, the UP Touch utility back. Former Western Province Junior is a schools player, very promising young talent we have there. He reminds me a lot of young Cheslin Colby, so if you haven't seen it yet, you can go on my channel and see what I spoke to Tarkin Manuel. And all the other guys as well. Ruben Love is also on my channel. He played Sunday morning against Crusaders at fly half, newbie 19-year-old Hurricane. So there's some good content to check out, if you haven't seen it as of yet. But yeah, like I always say, Thanks for the support. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.